Schumer has already been caught making violent rhetoric against the Supreme Court. Operation Whirlwind has already launched its investigation into Chuck Schumer and his words. Welcome to John Mike Keene as we go into more violence that Chuck Schumer plans, this time by bringing unvetted people who've lost their jobs to the next joint session for them to bring trouble to Trump. Watch this.
A couple suggestions. They could bring folks who had their Medicare Advantage, a very popular program with seniors at 33 million people enrolled, cut by Biden. They could bring those folks in as Trump's guests. Also, maybe members of the families of the 13 service members who lost their lives at Abbey Gate who have never been invited to a State of the Union address or a State of the Union light. But I do think there is a part of this where Trump and Doge need to explain to people, hey, yes, this is the explain yourself era for federal employees. They've never had to do that before. Federal programs can't just say, we're all great, you can't cut us. You have to explain what you're doing and how it is benefiting the American taxpayer. But there is a vulnerability if you move fast and break things and you break the wrong thing and someone can bring a person who is sympathetic, who is affected by that. Now, I would fact check all of these very closely. But Americans are done hearing we can't cut anything. They don't believe that anymore.
And Chuck Schumer has promised to bring some of these people who might have had their jobs cut by Doge to address Congress when Trump addresses tomorrow night the Congress. So Chuck's already bringing trouble, and really, he's been proven to be a security risk. Now, here's Tulsi Gabbard, where Chuck Schumer is shown to be an even bigger security risk in Democrats that are defending Zelensky stopping elections in Ukraine because of war. What does that mean for us?
Zelensky's presidential term ended on May 20th. He canceled elections in the name of martial law, suspending Ukraine's constitution so that he could stay in power. Now, defenders of Zelensky will say, hey, Ukraine is in the middle of a war. They can't have elections. Just stop for a moment and think, if we accept that excuse or criteria for suspending the Constitution and canceling elections, then we should presume that leaders in our own country and our own establishment media will also use this same excuse and rationale when they suspend our Constitution and our elections.
Meaning, if we ever got to war with Russia, which is what they could be pushing through Ukraine, and then end our elections.
Since we too are at war with Russia and China. If you think this sounds crazy, look at what's already going on. They've already started conditioning us to accept a dictatorship by rationalizing their own use of our Department of Justice to target President Trump and other political enemies in their efforts to stay in power.
And that's why the Democrats are the most dangerous party. They don't believe in rule of law. They don't believe in elections. And guys like Chuck Schumer, who are supporting Ukraine, who cancel elections, and Chuck Schumer, who has threatened the Supreme Court publicly, and now is threatening Trump to bring unvetted people to this Trump speech. We better have a high security detail if it involves Chuck Schumer, because we all know what he really is about. I'm John Mike Keene.